Stream Critique. This is Stream Critique, the series where I judge your streams, critique them, give feedback, grade it on a Stream Professor's report card, if you will, and help you get better at your streams. So if you're unfamiliar with how the series has run previously, I traditionally focus on a particular aspect of a stream, a particular thing they're doing right, thing they're doing wrong, thing you can learn from that I think you can take home as a viewer rather than fully evaluate. Like some of the stream critiquing shows that came out after mine stopped airing, I noticed were just like, they would just kind of rapid fire run through a bunch of streams and be like graphics, whatever. And my big thing is, while I will evaluate those things, I want to focus on one particular channel per episode. I think I was doing 2 or 3 before. We're experimenting with just doing 1. Focus on one particular channel and the things they are doing right and wrong. And I'm doing this live, and I'm doing it while referencing a browser up on this monitor, so it's going to get weird. But I am excited regardless. So the streamer we're focusing on, by the way, is actually live at this exact moment, which is kind of awkward, or at least they were when I started streaming. I believe they still are. Yeah, they appear to be live at this moment. And they are a streamer by the name of Derados. So we'll go ahead and switch over to our browser name. If y'all want to go raid his chat or something, that's fine, but stay focused here. And they are a streamer that mainly focuses on first-person shooter stuff, but they also do a little bit of variety, and that's something that we're going to talk about because I consider it a good thing. Hello, stream. Are you going to play? Am I not allowed to watch a stream because I'm live? That wouldn't surprise me, but it's not exactly what I'm expecting. Okay. Hello. Yay, Twitch working functionally, because that's... Oh. They're not online anymore. That's awkward. Derados is a streamer who primarily plays Rogue Company, Apex Legends, I believe a little bit of Siege. Where's their videos panel? Am I missing something? Twitch. What is wrong with your UI, Twitch? Where's the videos and clips and... Question mark? Why is Twitch's UI so terrible? Click their name. That's the same URL. That is the exact same URL. What? Why is their UI so terrible? Holy hell. Anyway, that is not the point right now. So they mainly stream first-person shooters, games like Road Company and whatever, according to them. However, they've also been doing a Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. So first impressions, if we're just looking at their channel, especially with them having told us that they are a first-person shooter-oriented channel, you will notice that they have had quite a few broadcasts in a row of this Crash Bandicoot Let's Play. Granted, Twitch doesn't save VODs long enough, so we only have 3 of them. But as of a few days ago when I started this, it was more. My first point of critique here comes down to scheduling, because honestly, I think more streamers need to be more varied in the content they produce. I talk about this a lot. We can make this a little bit a bigger video at some point, but something that I truly believe is that streamers get way too wrapped up in the number of viewers that they have when they are streaming a particular game or event. And to me, this is misleading, almost as kind of taking the hype around a new movie launch or something to represent their overall recurring viewership. And that is misleading to yourself and possibly damaging to your content strategy. Because realistically, your core subs that watch kind of whatever you play over time and things like that are your core viewers. And the more you understand them, the better you can perform. This is something that is 100% required on YouTube, but I don't think streamers involve enough. And so I truly believe that they're not doing anything wrong right now by streaming Crash Bandicoot 4, by playing primarily shooters, but doing a Let's Play. But what I do think they get critically wrong right now is that they did what appears to be, at least based on how I was viewing, and it was mentioned we can pull them up on Sully Gnome. Sully Gnome is a great analytics platform for Twitch. Not well known about enough just because it has a really stupid name. We can come down here. We don't care about their actual numbers, honestly. This is really hard to see when my... Oh, games. There we go. Let's do that. Games. Yeah, you can see here, it hasn't even registered their latest Rogue Company stream that they just did. It just has Crash Bandicoot 4 because they were doing so much of it. We can come down here to calendar. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Crash Bandicoot 4, Crash Bandicoot 4, Crash Bandicoot 4, Crash Bandicoot 4, Rogue Company. So that was at least, probably longer, at least a week straight of Crash Bandicoot. And we can go back. Yep. So a week straight of Crash Bandicoot. It looks like it was just a complete break from first-person shooters. And you can see here they have a little bit of consistency trouble. Oh, whoops. A little bit of consistency trouble in general here, as they are kind of all over the place with stream listings, which is whatever. You got to work that out a little bit on your own, but that was something they brought up as one of their potential weaknesses. So that is something I want to address. My issue here is that if you are a viewer of that channel, you may want to watch them play Crash Bandicoot sometimes. You may support them for that. 100% fine. That's the expected result here if you have a core audience. Like you all, I have viewers here show up for my Tech Talks, for my Twitch Talks, for my Pokemon openings, whatever. Perfect. The issue is dedicating an entire week to that game. That is clearly a strong pivot from their normal stuff. That is my problem right here. And this comes down, I think, to lack of preparation. And that's probably related to their consistency in the first place. I think so many streamers reach a point, and I don't know that this is what happened for them. I'm just talking generally. But so many streamers reach a point where they stream the same thing or the same couple games every day for weeks on end that they get burned out and they just need a break from it. When realistically, you can alternate. You can say, okay, this day of the week, we are streaming my FPS games, be it Apex, Rogue Company, whatever. Like Mondays are FPS streams, Fridays are variety streams, Wednesdays are something specific. Or Monday is Rogue Company, Wednesday's Apex Legends, Friday is Crash Bandicoot. And if you happen to do extra streams to like supplement some extra time in those games, totally fine. But to me, it is completely counterproductive to have variety if you are detracting from your core content. Like on my main channel right now, I post very specific content. OBS guides, capture card reviews, streaming gear reviews, the like. Every once in a while, I'll post something else. I'll post a retro gaming product review because I have nowhere else to really post that in a way that it makes sense. It's relevant to some of my audience. It's on brand for the branding that I establish here in the retro room. It works. But if I were to post that for like a month straight, I would burn out so many viewers who may check in on that content every once in a while because they like hearing my perspective on things, but they're not there for that content. You have to balance it out. And so I do think that a big weakness that many streamers have is a lack of preparation, and that comes into your schedule as well. And I think even if even if you're super stoked on the content that you're streaming at the moment, be it a first-person shooter game or whatever, it is still the healthier step to at least make step towards or to implement a schedule in which you are taking breaks from that, giving your viewers a break and getting yourself a healthier view of your analytics as well to see who shows up for those as well. Because you'll probably get new viewers. You'll get a little bit of cross-pollination too. So you'll have viewers that normally don't watch that game, but they watch you, so they'll watch that game and then whatever. And then you'll have people who have never heard of you who were watching that game who come find this stream and then watch your other streams. And then you'll have a bunch who only watch one or the other and don't watch you. And then you have your core audience that'll watch anything you post. It is extremely important to get that data. And it is very difficult to get that data until you experiment a little bit more. But in order to experiment, you need to lay it out and schedule it in a way that makes sense and doesn't just like you tune into this dude's stream every day of a week. And it's like, are you ever going to play Rogue Company again, man? And even though it's only been a week, to that viewer who's checking in or checking Twitch on you daily or whatever, it's going to seem like you just dropped it or you're just done with it or something. And so I think it's extremely important to balance out that kind of thing. Now, going back to their stream VOD here, which we have missed most of because I accidentally left playing. So overall, their graphics are pretty fine. No major complaints here. Well, not clearly. It looks like a pre-made package to me, which is fine. We push those. We'll be talking about them in general. So not a huge deal. But, they're solid. They look professional. It's well done. Most of it's cohesive. We get a little bit of starting screen here, and then we got this nice little view, and then he switches over to the webcam view. Totally fine. Looks great. No problems with it overall. No major complaints. What I do have complaints about, though, and you may already see it, that really, really bugs me, is I'm gonna mouse over this right here, the webcam frame. So this is my biggest pet peeve when it comes to streaming layouts, streaming graphics, and the like. I say that because it's actually a compounding of multiple pet peeves at one time. So first and foremost, if you have a green screen, there is absolutely zero reason to build yourself like an image background here over top, like to put yourself in a webcam frame. That's wasted data, wasted space. Just put yourself in the corner with yourself green screened over the gameplay, especially on a game like this, which has nothing in the bottom left-hand corner anyway. That would be perfect. That is the best use of your camera view IMO. No point in using the webcam frame overall. And what really is kind of weird to me is in this scene, they actually have themselves just keyed out in front of this view. Whereas I feel like if you're going to have your gameplay in a smaller window and stuff for this kind of intermission scene, then that would be the best opportunity to have yourself like you in a webcam frame like I have right now. This was not planned, but I'm in a frame. My gameplay's in a frame. I think that's the way to go. Instead, they have the webcam frame for the gameplay, and I think this serves zero purpose. And one of my biggest tips when it comes to creating video or to creating streams is if you're implementing elements, overlays, what have you, you need to consider whether or not it actually adds to your scene. And in this case, it does not. And what really bugs me, and this is where the elements compound here, is that the background is a static image that triggers one of my biggest pet peeves about green screen usage in general. When you're using a green screen, unless you're in front of like a screen capture or something where you're trying to show the detail of what you're green screened in front of, your green screen background should not be sharper than you are. And that is almost always going to be the case when you're looking at a webcam view. This is a still image. It has all the bits assigned to it because it's not moving to be as sharp as can be. And so it looks out of place because your background is sharper than your foreground, which makes it look like you're less in focus. And the softer you are with a sharp background, the harder the video encoding is going to struggle to make you look in focus for your actual details getting resolved. So that's already a bad idea. Not to mention, this is actually an image of Crash Bandicoot 4 About Time. You can see Crash's hands sticking out from beside of him. So it's an image with a subject in the center, and that just looks really weird. It looks like Crash or whoever it is sticking out from behind his chair and trying to grab him and choke him out. An animated background would be okay, and I highly encourage people who do green screens who want like a more realistic view to, you know, commission out or build or use examples of like a faux 3D set. But this kind of thing I would personally never do. Now, it was pointed out that they're probably trying to have a little bit of variety, which is why they have the changing scenes. But like I said, I would prefer it to be done the opposite. Whereas this kind of scene is a picture-in-picture double frame view like we have now. And then your actual gameplay scene, you're keyed out in front of it. It would allow you to be bigger, allow you to be clearer, and just make the overall experience make a lot more sense. Like I said, this is something that just really bugs me a little bit as a couple pet peeves about streams in general on top of green screen usage. But it's easy to fix. Like realistically, it's not super hurting him right now. His stream, like the presentation here overall is fine. His video quality is pretty solid. His hosting isn't that bad. That's actually something he mentioned, is that he thinks his hosting is boring, especially when there isn't a whole lot of chat. And I tuned in here. We can kind of unmute this and get a little bit of a preview. I assume I have the audio added for this. I hope so.
3 versus 4, let's go. It would be a nice comeback. Maybe. Maybe not.
Oh, we have two different views going. My bad. That makes more sense.
Crate which tells developers thoughts that come on, you cannot do it.
Chat is not super active right now, but he is talking. He is chatting away. He's talking about the game. He's talking about the developers. Good to go. Totally fine.
Guards, basically.
Like, it's not the most ecstatic, engaging stream, but he's hosting much better than most newbie streamers. Probably most streamers on the platform. Totally fine. I have no issue with that. I just have issue with how the green screen is used here. Audio quality, as you kind of heard here, we'll turn it back on, isn't super clear. In this specific, we'll check the other one. In this specific stream, he said he was using a headset mic because he was getting a new one on the way because one was broken, but he's using like Bayer Dynamic headphones here that don't have a headset mic, so I don't actually know what microphone he's using.
Ooh, that was actually unnecessary risk.
But he has a little bit of a game balance or audio balance problem where his game sounds a little bit louder than he is. It's a little harder to understand. So that needs a little bit of work. It's a little odd there. But that's fine. We'll check his newer VOD here of Rogue Company.
Damn it. I got two grenades on me.
Yeah, so he's still a little quiet compared to the game. And again, I don't know if he's using the new mic that replaced his broken one because he submitted his application quite a few weeks ago. By the way, if you want to submit your application, streamguides.gg/streamcritique. I don't have a Stream Deck button for this because I'm a prepared professional streamer, ladies and gentlemen. But if you want to apply for this show yourself, you can head over into that URL I just posted in chat. Sign up. Require a little bit of information from you. But yeah, they submitted their application a few weeks ago, so obviously things change and whatever, but the audio quality isn't super balanced. I don't like the microphone quality itself isn't amazing, but you don't need it to be amazing. You just need it to be passable. I have a little video up on my YouTube channel, The Ultimate Guide to Improving Your Audio Quality for Streaming. You can check that out. But like the voice quality itself,
Streamer actually getting really bad at the game.
there's a little bit of reverb, but overall, it's fine. Like, it's fine. It doesn't need to be amazing. The issue is the balance with his game. And so you could set up auto ducking like I have with the music. So when you talk, the game sound gets lower and then it comes back up. You still want to keep it lower in general than he has it right now. Like you set up auto ducking, which is a process where the audio that you are ducking, in this case, the game sound, will dynamically lower based on when you talk and then kind of raise back up a little bit when you're not, which is super helpful for these kinds of situations. Again, that's a tutorial I have up on my YouTube channel as well. A couple different solutions there to where realistically, you know, you're not going to show up and be like, that's terrible audio. Close. But you're also, eventually you're going to be like, okay, I can't hear you over the game, buddy. Can you fix that? So that's my fix there. Overall, though, I don't have major gripes with this stream. Like I said, they expressed that their weaknesses were their social skills without chat and things like that. And honestly, I think compared to a lot of streamers I check on, they're doing just fine. My biggest issue here is, ironically, so we talked about my biggest pet peeve with specific green screen usage. This is my biggest problem with game streaming in general. And I know not everyone agrees with me, and it will entirely depend on what your priorities are for streaming. So I'm going to clarify that right now. But if your priorities are to grow a stream, to build an audience, to create an entertaining stream that keeps viewers around, what we have been watching right now isn't great because nothing has changed. And in fact, if we scroll through the entire 3-hour VOD of this game, nothing ever changes. No scene changes. You notice I put on all this effort to these stinger transitions, the multicams, all of this for a reason. It's not just because I can, although part of it is, but part of it's because when it comes to movies and TV shows and most forms of media, you have to keep changing things up. You have to make it dynamic in order for viewers to stick around. Now, I don't expect everyone to invest way too much money in multiple cameras, even though you can get cheaper phones or even cheaper webcams to set up multicam. Not everyone needs multicam, but what you do need is different scenes. Variety is the spice of life. You are correct. And so it doesn't have to be super elaborate, but change it up. Take breaks. So something I was talking about during my How to Build a Stream Show videos, which you can look on my YouTube channel that we just talked about at the beginning of the stream, is that when you're doing game streaming, you need to be taking regular breaks from the gameplay that you're doing to engage with your chat and actually focus on them, to break up the visuals, to go back to that scene that they had at the start of the game. Like, this should be happening every level. They should, and they could be. Like, I am looking at a high level and just not finding it. And admittedly, I did not sit here for 3 hours and scrub, literally watch this frame by frame. But as far as I could tell, at no point do they actually switch back to that scene. It's only at the start for some reason. Whereas realistically, every time they die or every level, they should be back on this scene, engaging with chat, breaking it up, maybe talking about something else, showing something else, etc. Even set yourself up reminders. Like, you can probably get like a timer script on OBS or something to just tell you to, hey, do this. Or set reminders on your phone, put your post-it notes on your monitor. Set something up so that you are changing scenes dynamically and breaking it up. Because honest to goodness, as much as people love game streaming, it is my strong belief that most viewers who, like, especially for a streamer who's trying to grow, when you're a big streamer and you just get to sit on your laurels and do whatever you want, your viewers are going to stick around forever. When you're a streamer trying to grow, anything you can do to keep viewers from bouncing from your stream is a win. This is something that we learn and I focus on super heavily and have to obsess over for YouTube videos, and it 100% applies to stream as well, is that you have to break up the dead air. You have to break up the monotony of your stream. Because if you just leave it on the same thing, even if it's... you would have to be like Shroud level top tier gameplay in order for your gameplay to not get boring after a while when you have the exact same stream layout for 3 hours. I'm sorry, but most people get bored of that. You got to break it up. And this is why one of the most prolific streamers, whether you support him or not, and I have my own disagreements with how he does things. Dr. Disrespect builds such a powerful and engaging stream because he has so much going on. He has different like webcam layouts within the same scene. He has different views of the gameplay. He has all his goofy like green screen skit things he runs off to. That's not just because he just wants to have fun. That's part of it. But that's because he's building a show. He's building something that's entertaining. Now, I want to stop what I'm saying right now because I mentioned that it matters what your priorities are. This is if you are a new streamer trying to grow and build an audience and do streaming as some sort of like, this is what you do. Not necessarily as a career, but if maybe that, but you know, your thing that you do. If you are just game streaming to play games and share it with friends and have fun and do whatever, realistically, you don't need to do this. If you are just here to hang out and you don't care whether people stick around, you just want your friends to see your gameplay or you just want to do it, you can do whatever you want. This is fine. If you come home from work every day and you're just like, I just want to play a game and you know, chill and enjoy it and not engaging and whatever, you don't have to do this. You're still going to make better stuff that people are going to hang out and have more fun with you with, and you're going to build up new friends but if you're attracting new people. But you know, you got to decide what's important to you. But this is something that realistically doesn't take a ton of effort. Like, I'm going to be a little insulting to everyone here for a minute, but I firmly believe that game streaming content isn't high effort content. It can be, but on its own, the core concept of playing a video game and streaming it to the internet, you can do it with quite literally zero effort. You can enable NVIDIA Shadow Play and just broadcast your gameplay up there. The bell curve, not the bell curve, the like curve of difficulty of actually making engaging streams that are watchable. What I am suggesting for Dorado here, which is not something that he has to change everything he's doing for. Like if we're drawing a curve right here, I should totally have a graphic prepared for this. We're talking like we just started going up the curve. This is just 2 extra steps. You can even automate most of it to where like every 10 minutes it's doing something for you. Like you could literally do the bare minimum to implement this. So this is something that Dorado right now can take home and change and have a much better stream for. And then never have to touch it again if he doesn't want to because he's not, you know, he's still doing it just for fun or whatever. But just that little extra step. But otherwise, it's a pretty solid stream. I'm going to check my notes here because I've been talking for too long. Yeah, I don't think I had any major complaints other than just one little bit. And I really can't stand that they have the little symbol at the start of their stream titles to like implement that they're live. The little record button when the brackets. And I'm going to annoyingly switch back to the browser scene even though this transition takes forever. You all love the cards. You know you do. But this right here, this is a waste of space. This doesn't benefit you. It's contributing to how long your title appears and it can get truncated on certain views. This does not make your title more attractive. It doesn't. It's just wasted characters. It's because they multi-stream. It's because of YouTube. My YouTube stream titles never have that. I don't entirely understand that. Maybe Restream or something adds it to the front. If so, that's unfortunate. But personally, I would not implement them. Comment on YouTube. Well, that's dumb. Like, I realize I'm speaking from a place of ignorance because I clearly don't understand this. But I think it's pretty dumb. If you're worried about it showing up alongside your VODs and stuff, you make a thumbnail that clearly expresses that it's live, or you put VOD in the thumbnail or something. But personally, I think symbols are typically a waste of characters on your titles and that it detracts from the experience and it makes it look more generic. I would rather come up with something clever. And honestly, their stream titles overall work. They are referencing stuff they're doing in the game and they change it each stream and suddenly it just got very loud. There we go. But like they have different ones for their different episodes. So I appreciate what they're doing with the text, but already like that symbol's taken away from the legibility of the titles in the first place. And personally, I don't recommend it. Other people do it. You can do whatever you want. This is not serious advice. This is my personal preference of what I like to see and what I think works. But especially, I mean, it's Twitch titles. Very few people really read Twitch titles unless you have something super compelling that you threw up there. So cover it in emoji vomit and just go with it, I guess. So, for Dorado, I have been super critical in the angle of providing value of what you can change for yourself and what they can change. Like I said, overall, their stream is pretty solid, and we're going to get to the first ever Stream Professor's Report card for Dorado. Boom. we're going to get right here. I'm going to pull things up. So first and foremost, for video quality, they get an A. Their video quality was totally fine. I'm not going to sit here and pixel peep and nitpick and make sure that they're at 936p and they're using the right encoder or any of that. I don't think that matters. Their stream was presentable. It didn't have a ton of blocking. It was completely legible. I am A-okay with it. I just made a thumbs up to the camera and you can't see it. Audio quality, I'm giving a B-, mainly due to the gameplay balance. The microphone quality wasn't amazing in the first place, but that would have been fine on its own if if the gameplay audio was not super overpowering. And so if they fix that, they could land themselves a B+ or an A-. It's fine. Their hosting skills, the big thing, they were actually worried about themselves. I'm giving them a B+. Again, nothing super amazing or phenomenal stood out. So, you know, they're not in A or A+ territory because there wasn't anything stellar there. But realistically, it was fine. Like, they did what they set out to do, and they did a decent job at it. And anytime I spot checked or clicked around, like, they were chatting about the game, and they weren't super boring. It was a Let's Play, so that contains its own boring factor on its own, but inherently to their hosting, they weren't doing anything super boring. So I can't really dock them for that. In terms of their metadata, which was that title I just brought up, I'm giving an A- because I like that they were changing their stream titles based on each individual stream. They weren't just reusing the same stream title over and over. They were coming up with clever stuff. I 100% appreciate that. I absolutely love it. I encourage everyone to do it. But I just docked off a point for that symbol that I personally prefer to change. You may not count that since there are apparently a lot of other people who do it and reasons to do it. This is my subjective score. I am not a doctor or a lawyer or a qualified teacher at your personal college, I guess. You cannot use these scores to get into a better college. Graphics, in terms of their overlays and everything, give them a B+. Nothing amazing about it, and I think there's a little bit of misuse there with the green screen, as I mentioned, and the webcam frame. But it's better than your average streamer who barely has anything, doesn't use it right, doesn't have it set up right, whatever. Totally fine. Like I said, needs a little bit of work. We already talked about that. And finally, presentation. I'm giving them a D. That is by far their worst score, and that comes down purely to what I talked about before, which was their overall, the fact that their scene didn't change. Nothing exciting happened. Nothing changed throughout the show. That earned them a D. If they can get that up, they're on their way to a great score in the finals, as you all noticed. Yeah, that's their scores for the first ever Stream Professor's Report Card. And this has been the first live episode of Stream Critique. Hope you enjoyed, and if you did, be sure and go check out our sponsor. Our sponsor today is, of course, Nerd or Die. Nerd or Die has a wonderful gamut of stream layouts, overlays, alert packs, free resources such as their media looper that we covered before, all sorts of awesome stuff, including the new Stream Professor inspired Stream OS. Like I said, I will have more to share on that front in general, but it is a lovely, I don't know if I have rights to that music. It is a lovely Windows 95 era themed layout with a few different styles and lots of cool stuff like that. You can go check them out at eposvox.gg/nerdordie and use coupon code EposVox at checkout to save 15%. We also have other cool stuff that we have going, and you will hear more from me regarding this layout in the future. If you want to apply for Stream Critique yourself, you can check out this link in the description below. I will make sure I get Stream Deck buttons set up for that in the future.